How's it going, guys? My name is Dom and welcome to your third Dom7 tutorial. So in this one I want to take you through how to manipulate classes inside Dom7. So as you can see here, I've got a very similar example to my previous video that was on selectors, where we have a list here and then 4 items inside there. So here we can see we have 2 blue items, and that's because we have a class of highlight on both of these. So we're going to use some of the methods that Dom7 provides to manipulate the classes of these list items inside this list. Okay, so let's see the source code for this document. It looks like this right now. Okay, so we have that unordered list element here with an ID of my list, and also the 4 list items. As you can see here, we have a class of highlight for these 2 middle ones, and the highlight class adds a color of blue and a font weight of bold, just so we can actually see what's happening when we remove and toggle these classes. So inside the JavaScript, we can see here I've got the Dom7 library included, and down here let's first take a look at the addClass method. Okay, so we can just say addClass as a comment up here. Okay, so the addClass method in Dom7, as the name suggests, it lets you add a class to a bunch of selected elements. Okay, so let's just select the last list item here and then add the highlight class to it. Okay, so down here let's call the Dom7 function and pass in here, we're going to say hashtag or an ID of my list. Okay, and then we're going to say list item, and then we're going to say last of type. Okay, so this selects the last list item inside this list. Okay, so we're going to say the last list item dot add class. Okay, and then we're going to pass in highlight right there. Alright, so now we're adding the highlight class to the last list item. If I was to save this and refresh my browser, we see we have a blue bananas down there. So inside the inspector, if I was to expand this, we can see we have a class of highlight on bananas. So it worked really well. Okay, so as I said, these methods will actually work on a whole selection of elements, which means I can just pass in here, instead of last of type, I can say li. So now it's going to select every list item inside this list and add that class to it. So I can save this and refresh, and now apples will also get the class because it is one of these selected list items, and these 2 middle ones will keep their class as they've already got it on them ready. Okay, so that is the addClass method. Alright, let's now see the removeClass method. So removeClass looks like this, and once again, as the name suggests, it lets you remove a class from a group of selected elements. So down here, let's just remove all of, or let's just remove, the highlight class from the bananas list item. So once again, we're going to just select the last list item, so my list, li, then last of type. Alright, and then we're going to say remove class, alright, and pass highlight inside there. So very straightforward. I can save this and refresh the browser, and we can see that that no longer has the class of highlight. So that works really well also. And once again, you can just pass in all of the list items like previously, and the class will be gone from all of the list items right there. Okay, so we have those 2 methods right here. We can now look at the hasClass method. So the hasClass looks like that, and this one will actually return you a value. So this is just going to say return true or false whether or not the first element inside the selected list has a specific class. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to see if the first list item has a class of highlight. Alright, so down here we're going to first just select the first list item, so li, and then first of type. Alright, and we're going to say hasClass and pass in here highlight. Alright, we also want to store this value, so I'm going to make a new constant down here and call this one results equal to the hasClass method call. Alright, so now if I was to console.log results, okay, I can save this and refresh the browser. Inside the console we get false. Okay, so the first list item does not have the class of highlight. Of course, if I was to go down here and just comment out this removeClass line, okay, I can save this and refresh, and this time we see we get true right there. So we can see that obviously the class here, or the item here, has the class of highlight, so we get true as the result right there. Now, as I said, this hasClass can be called on a group of elements, but it'll select the first one to actually check. Okay, so what this means is, if I was to also just comment out this addClass line, okay, so we're back to normal up here again, and then if I was to now go down here and just get rid of this first of type, so we're going to select all of the list items and check the hasClass method, okay, and now if I was to save this and refresh, we can see that our selection was all of these list items, and two of these list items have the class of highlight, but we're getting false here. That's because the first one does not have a class of highlight, so it checks the first one. If I was to then just add the class of highlight to the first one, so copy this and put it up here, now we get true in the console. So the first one is the one you go for. Alright, let's keep that in mind. Okay, so back to this state, we can now take a look at the toggleClass method. So down here we have a toggleClass, and this one is going to toggle, or basically flip, the classes on your selection. Okay, so we have these two middle items with the class of highlight. Let's flip that and make the first one and the last one have the class of highlight, and these two middle ones have no class at all. Alright, so let's do that using the toggleClass method. So down here we're going to just select all of the list items like that, and then we're going to say .toggleClass, okay, and pass highlight into there. So I can save this and refresh, and we can see that these two now have the highlight class and these ones do not. So we can see how that works. And what happens is, initially these two list items had no class, but the toggleClass is going to actually add the class to the list item or the element by default. So has no class, it's going to add it for you automatically. And if I was to just copy and paste this one more time, we should see the same result, but back to normal. So you can refresh, and now we're back at how we started. Alright, so those four methods right there are how you can manipulate classes using the Dom7 library. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.